Well, Matt, welcome back. I always say every time this is one of my favorite questions because I get interesting answers, some expected and some unexpected. Influencers happen sometimes in a second or sometimes in a lifetime. A lot of times I'll give the example when I speak of my grandfather who was from Kiev, my mom from Kiev, and he had an accent and he would take me for walks in the park in Montreal when I was 5 or 6. And he talked to everybody. And one time I said, and I'm Jewish, I said, Zeta, I called him, how do you know all these people? And he said, I didn't know anybody. One day I just smiled at one, and the guy smiled back at me. And then he started talking to me. He said it was an accent. And then, so I talked to him. And then there was another one that smiled, and another one. And I got when he was saying this, a 5 or 6 year old, but I got it more even later about the influence he was having just by a smile. So that impacted his life and other people's and started creating stuff. Can you share with us? I know there's probably a lot, but 2 or 3 influencers in your life?
Well, I love your example, first of all, and that really resonates with me. That yeah, if you just give of yourself and open yourself up to other people, you can really be inspired by them. So that's a wonderful thing. I would say, I mean, I've been thinking about this question a lot recently, actually, and I think my first answer would be my family, my wife, and my 2 kids, and they inspire me in a million different ways, and also exhaust me in a million different ways. But I think what I've increasingly realized, and the big inspiration and the insight, is that I have to live in the moment with them. They're 5 and 2 years old, my kids. My wife's a bit older than that. And yeah, it's important to clarify in these kinds of settings. But you just can't plan for even tomorrow because their needs are so constant, and they are also so pure in living in the moment, both in their enjoyment of it, or also their total frustration and the chaos that comes from that. And so even though in my work life I may be thinking about 100 different things that I'm trying to do over 100 or 1,000 days from now, I just can't stay there long, because then they're going to drag me right back to what's for dinner and how can I get them to bed. And on really good days, when I feel like I'm a great dad, are the days where I can actually be enjoying that and living in that moment rather than trying to rush on to the next thing. So it's a grounding, inspiring thing. And then I would say, on a professional note, it's not really a single person, although I could certainly name several of them. But it's more the ingenuity and the energy of young professionals, which we were already speaking about. But I have several colleagues that I work with now, and many that I would give examples of from past organizations that I've worked in. And it's almost always been the case that the people who I've thought are the most impressive are the most junior people in these organizations, that are so smart and so committed, and their energy and their ability to produce just incredibly high quality things that they are themselves motivated to produce, right? Not because I said this has to be great, but because they feel that it has to be great. It is just incredibly inspiring. And on all of the days when I look around and I think, we're not getting nearly far or fast enough as a global community in the change that we need to see, and getting a bit concerned about that, then I see all of these amazing young people and know that they're already leading, and soon they will be truly in all of the leadership roles. And you have to feel like that is going to really create some of this change that we all want to see.
Yeah, that's brilliant. On the kids front, I can get it. My kids are older, 20s and stuff, and cherish the moments, because they tell us, and we understand it logically, it's going to go fast, but it goes fast. and,
Yeah.
And they do make you think of being present. Dogs do that too, not just kids, but dogs do that in the present moment. And I love when you talk about young professionals, and that just makes me go circle around for a second to why you're doing what you're doing, how many young people there are that you're saving that are going to be those people also.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Well, actually, it's something that I've thought about a lot as I come back into working in nutrition after many years away from the sector, and trying to find ways of helping this issue to connect for people. And we were speaking a little bit earlier about the emphasis on the burden on child survival and how powerful that is. But of course, this impact on human development is as important and will be so central to our collective ability to prosper as a a humanity and as a planet. And when I think about the impact of malnutrition on brain development, for example, and just imagining if we had another third to half of the entire planet that was able to really fully realize their potential physically and intellectually, and what would be possible in that. You can imagine that, you were referencing Einstein earlier, but we were doing some analysis looking at the impact of iodine deficiency and solving for iodine deficiency in Switzerland over the last 100 years. And the result of doing that added the IQ points that would add up to 10,000 additional Einsteins in Switzerland. So, I mean, what does that mean? Now all of a sudden, Switzerland is one of the world's leaders in financial services and technology and, all of these things. You could argue that a lot of that is because you have a population that was able to realize their potential. So I think there's something powerful in that.
That's super powerful. Exactly. I think Finland was doing a lot in education that way too, and it's something really great to think about, because if you don't do that, what inventions, what cures, what everything isn't going to be around. So well, I'll leave it at there. But one thing is, I think we all got to realize we're influencing people all the time, and it's really a choice to do it positively or not. And you might never know what happened, like Mr. Holland's opus with the teacher, but something does happen. So keep influencing us, Matt. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Mark.